This segment of the show, not enough time to get a question in, but enough time to show you the esteemed panelists that we have, the 6 guests that we will have for part of our town hall. Unfortunately, Dr. Woods has a previous engagement and can't be with us, but we'll continue the conversation.
Local school districts are the entities in charge of deciding when schools open.
We miss our children. We miss being in class.
If our interest is in saving lives, we should do our best to ignore our Attorney General.
The best place for them to be safe is at home.
You can't do online learning if you don't have connectivity.
Some teachers and staff have decided not to come back at all.
Local teachers from Harlandale ISD voicing their concerns of returning to school during a rally this afternoon.
Safety comes first. Our lives come first.
Is it safe? And if it's not, when is it going to be safe?
It's not safe.
Welcome to a KSAT special event, Learning During a Pandemic, a town hall where over the next hour we will be answering your questions about the upcoming school year, addressing the uncertainties and talking about the tough choices that parents, teachers, students, and administrators all face. If you've been with us for the last half hour of the 6 o'clock newscast, you saw the Q&A. Two local superintendents joined us.
Yeah, we're continuing that conversation here, also bringing in a student, a teacher, a lawmaker, a researcher who used to be a lawmaker, and we want to hear from you. We have a live chat feature on our website where you can submit questions right now. We're getting some great questions already. You can find that on KSAT.com.
The back and forth about how to kick off what will certainly be an unprecedented school year, it's been confusing over the last several weeks and months. So before we kick off our Q&A, we want to take a step back to show you how we got to where we are today.
The constantly changing guidelines for this upcoming school year have been hard to follow, even for those who do it for a living. Krista Toralva, an education reporter with the San Antonio Express-News, says she spent much of the summer keeping a lookout for when the state would issue guidance to local school districts on reopening campuses.
We kept on hearing that they would release their guidance, in June and then July and then later in July.
The matter wasn't exactly settled even when the rules did come.
After weeks of waiting, the Texas Education Agency releasing guidance for reopening schools across the state.
The state originally, when it did release its guidance this month, said that the school districts needed to open up for families who wanted in-person learning. Well, there was a lot of backlash to that. And
that initial requirement mandated schools open classrooms after a 3-week transition period or risk losing state funding. But a week after the TEA released its initial plan to reopen schools, the agency then issued an update.
Typically, schools fall under the authority of the state of Texas and local school districts, not the city of San Antonio or Bexar County. But today, the Texas Education Agency announced that the local public health officials can decide whether to keep Texas schools open for in-person instruction this fall without risking state education funding.
Mayor Ron Nierenberg announced the creation of a task force made up of students, teachers, parents, and other experts with the purpose of helping guide local schools on how to reopen safely. Then, just a couple of days later,
the Texas Education Agency updating guidelines for the upcoming school year today. Districts can now postpone in-person learning for the first 4 weeks of school.
And if your area is still really bad, then you can apply for an additional 4 weeks of remote learning for a total of 8 weeks. But then that's it.
Locally, with new power given to the department by the state, San Antonio Metro Health issued a directive prohibiting face-to-face classes until after Labor Day. Then, 11 days after Metro Health issued its order, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton stepped in.
Today, Attorney General Ken Paxton weighing in once more. In a statement, the state Attorney General says local health authorities, quote, may not issue sweeping orders closing schools for the sole purpose of preventing future COVID-19 infections, end quote.
Shortly after Paxton's announcement, the TEA updated its guidance to say that school districts will lose funding if they keep classrooms closed because of a local health mandate. School districts are still allowed to keep campuses closed for a total of 8 weeks with the TEA's approval. Then Governor Greg Abbott stepped in, saying that decisions on when to open campuses to in-person learning will be left up to school districts.
I understand, both sides and how and what they want and what they feel like they're losing by being remote. And I think that the educators feel the same way. It's just hard to balance. How do you bring those families back in safely and also consider the safety of the teachers?
And while the debate is raging on, district leaders are scrambling to keep up with the changes and adapt.
Some school districts are saying, you know, there was a plan back in June and then we scrapped it to abide by the TEA's guidelines. And now with this change in the guidelines, we're revisiting those plans. We're pulling them out of our, digital trash can, dusting them off and starting all over again with those plans.
So that's how we got to where we are today. Where do we go from here? Let's introduce the panelists quick. SAISD Superintendent Pedro Martinez is staying with us. State Representative Diego Bernal from District 123, who is the Vice Chairman of the House Committee on Public Education, is with us. Melina Espiritu Azocar is an NISD teacher. She has 2 children in NISD. She's been a public school educator for 14 years. She is also with us.
And we also have Mike Villarreal, former state representative and current director of the UTSA Urban Education Institute. And our youngest panelist with us this evening, we have Alejo Peña Soto, 17 years old, a high school senior, a student at Thomas Jefferson High School, and also part of the San Antonio Community Alliance for Reopening Schools. Thank you to all of you for being here. All of your perspectives uniquely important to this conversation. Alejo, I want to start with you. We have heard from so many officials, if you will, over the last weeks and months. I think a student perspective is so crucial and so unique. So what are you bracing for as the start of school approaches? What are some of the things about remote learning specifically that you know will be challenging or that you think you learned from in the spring?
So I think that there's a couple of big problems that we as students are going to be seeing in the future coming up. A big problem across San Antonio is equity in schools, and I think that this is just going to exacerbate that. And our student coalition in SAISD surveyed students on how they felt about returning back to school in the spring when digital learning first opened. 47% of students said that it was too much work for them, and only 16% of students said that they were properly engaged. Now, the mental health aspect of going back is also going to be a very big issue, right? Our student to counselor ratio in Texas right now is 1 to 400. And it's just, I don't know how students are going to be able to receive the proper help that they need to deal with their mental health issues and just being engaged in schools, really.
How about for you personally? Your thoughts on back to school 2020?
So I'm pretty scared going back. I know that it is my senior year. I wish I could go back to schools, but I just don't believe that it is safe enough right now to go back to schools. As we transition into this new normal and as we kind of come down from this huge spike, I still feel like our districts may not be in the best positions to handle these returns to school properly. And I'm just concerned for the health of the people that are going to be most impacted, our teachers, our staff, the grandparents of students when they return home after going to school in person.
Let's turn to our teacher and our panelist this evening, Melina Espiritu Azocar. Let's talk about your perspective. I mean, yours is critically important here. Are you heading back into a classroom to do remote learning? Will you be doing that from home? And what do you think are going to be the biggest challenges of the year?
Sure. I think there is a real fear and a worry from both teachers and parents, and I can speak to both of those. I think what we want is information and transparency. We want to know and understand safety guidelines and precautions, but we want the sanctity of life and health to be in the forefront of the decisions that our districts are making. And we want to be part of this process. I think that's the biggest thing. We want our voices to be heard, and we want to be part of the decision-making process. And there is a fear. Teachers are, I think that teachers in other school districts have already gone back to school. We are being asked in my district to report into the building. And I think what we would like as teachers is we would like the choice, especially given in the red zone right now, to ensure our safety and to be able to teach from home. And I think that we showed from March through June that we had the ability to teach from home. And I think we can certainly do that at this point right now too.
Are you concerned that you're going to have added duties on top of just teaching our young people, that you're also going to be in charge of antibacterial wipes. You're going to be in charge of, cleaning the classrooms in addition to education.
Well, I also think that part of it is that we're not really sure exactly what the plan is, and we're waiting to see what our districts are going to provide us as far as the plan is. But yes, I mean, we're certainly concerned. We wear many, many hats as educators, and I think that as a teacher, I'm very concerned about what is going to be the expectation moving forward, and I'm also very concerned about how we really are going to be able to keep our students safe from a virus that we cannot see. We've been asked as educators to keep our kids safe from many, many things, even from an active shooter on our campuses, but we cannot keep our kids safe from this virus.
A lot more in this conversation to be had. We are just getting underway. And as a reminder to everyone watching this, we're taking your questions. Go to KSAT.com, submit your questions there. In our live chat feature, we'll get some of them asked here. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Welcome back. State Representative Diego Bernal, also one of our panelists. He represents District 123. He's the vice chairman of the House Committee on Public Education, raised in San Antonio, went to Thomas Jefferson High School. We have a couple of mighty Mustangs on this panel. So, Diego, your reaction to what you've heard so far when you hear a teacher and a student talk about their concerns about going back into the classroom?
It's frustrating. And of course, I worry about them. I'm a dad. I've got a daughter who's enrolled to go to an SEISD school this year. And so we worried about the same thing, but it's frustrating because we've watched the state go back and forth and change its mind and sort of bungle this. And now we don't know exactly what's supposed to happen or how it's supposed to work. And we're looking ahead to 8 weeks, but I suspect that if things don't change around the state, that we'll get new guidance to go after that. And as a parent, if you're an educator, if you're a student, it's hard to keep track of it. But on top of that, it feels like there's a requirement that we set our sights on something and then have to change it at the last minute. And what we lose in that is uniformity. So as you mentioned before, we can't have a regional approach to health and safety. It's got to be done district by district, which sounds smart, except for the fact that within our own city, there are 17 school districts right up against each other. Not having a regional approach makes no sense. And then on top of that, the idea that in situations now where Pedro and Brian are trying to figure out how to bring teachers into the buildings now, there's not uniformity there. So what's happening in Northside, what's happening in SEISD, what's happening in East Central are all different from one another. That breeds zero confidence among teachers and parents as well. So I think we need to get a better handle on this, but the problem for a lot of us and people in my situation is that we're spectators. We're watching the governor decide, but we're not at the table pulling levers or pushing buttons ourselves. We're reduced to having to advocate on behalf of the people we represent, but not make decisions. And that's been difficult, both as a lawmaker, but even more so as someone who cares about teachers and has a student himself.
Let's hear from the governor. We know we've heard a lot of back and forth over the last couple of weeks trying to clarify the stance on who will be making that final decision on who goes back to school. I believe we have a soundbite from Governor Greg Abbott. Let's take a look at that.
The bottom line is the people who know best about what both the needs are in their school district, as well as the capabilities of providing a safe learning environment, the people who know best about that are the local school officials. Extremely important. Local school officials have access to information provided to them by local public health authorities. And local school districts can base their decisions about when and how to open their schools on the advice of those local public health authorities.
Unfortunately, this already very complicated issue has in some ways gotten political. So, Mr. Martinez, Superintendent of SAISD, I want to pose this question to you because at the end of the day, now we know that it is up to school districts to make that call on returning to in-person learning. What resources are you using to make that decision? What data are you looking at? I know we've heard you say decisions need to be data-driven before. So how are you making that decision?
So the first thing is we can't have arbitrary dates. We can't say, well, children will come in person in a certain week. It has to be driven by medical data. So we're using the same medical data that San Antonio Metro Health is using. Dr. Wu is actually working with her on a daily basis. And so we have released a similar level system as the city with red, yellow, green, and then we added a blue, which is really what could happen if there's a breakthrough and if there's a vaccine. And really in the red right now, which is where we're at right now, and I agree with both Alejo and Melina, right now in the red, we don't want to have children coming into our schools. We want to make sure that our buildings are ready, that our classrooms are ready, that we have all of our procedures in place, that our students, our parents understand them, our teachers understand them. And trust me, and that is 1,000 pieces of information we're managing through, especially in a district where we have 100 buildings, we have over 3,200 classrooms. And so that's number one, is using the medical data. The other thing is, giving us the time so that we can reduce the anxiety. For valid reasons, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety in our community, whether it's our teachers, our students, or our parents. And so one of the things that we need to do as school districts is be able to bring in our teachers, our parents, our students, and say, here's all of our procedures, here's what we're doing, and give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. If we're not ready, let's just say that we're not ready. So for example, we're having on a voluntary basis, teachers are coming in starting on the first day of school next week. It's all voluntary, 40% are coming in, and they're going to be our safety committee. And every single school, they will tell us, because we have a 50-page document, but here's the thing. Until teachers actually test out those procedures, they'll tell us whether it's realistic for a 3 or 4-year-old or a 16-year-old to be able to implement those kind of procedures. They got to give us opinions on the PPE, on the equipment that we're having. And so again, it has to be with that kind of data. When we go into the yellow, one of the things we said is that we will allow children to come in, but again, it'll be up to 25%. It'll be gradual. It'll be 4 to 6 children per classroom. It might be 1 day a week. It might be 2 days a week. Even then, I want our students and parents to come into the schools and see what we're doing. And I want them to feel comfortable. And I want any child, whether it's Alejo or anybody else who wants to stay remote, we want them to stay remote all semester and all year. And then really what I want to learn, Alejo and Melina, is how do we make it better for students? Because we know that remote learning works for some students, but not for all. So how do we do that? One of the frustrations that our teachers had during the spring break is that when the students were doing remote, and this is probably tying to Alejo's data, the survey that they saw, is they couldn't help the students when they were struggling because our buildings were closed. They couldn't bring them in person. And so in the yellow, we can start doing that gradually and slowly. When we get into the green zone, and that's a very high bar, in order to get in the green zone, you have to have doubling time for cases has to be significantly long. Positivity testing has to be 5%. We haven't been at 5%, folks, since May. May was the last time we were down at 5%. We're at 14% right now. The state is over 20%. We're a long way from that. And we also have to have a downward trend in cases. We're starting to see a plateauing, but it has to be downward for many, many days, at least 2 to 3 weeks. And so we're far away from that. But what we want to do, even when we get into the green zone, we want to make sure our teachers are ready. We want to make sure that any children that are coming in, they are ready, that our parents are ready. This will be a very gradual process. It has to be step by step, has to be driven by science, has to be driven by people's legitimate fears and anxieties being reduced. And if we can't do that, then we got to wait. We have to wait. And so that's the challenge, but it's going to take all of us. And it isn't a straightforward answer. You know, when people say, well, stay remote the whole time, that's not driven by science. Bring everybody in all at once. That's not driven by science. We have to make sure our decisions are driven by science.
Great. All right. And you talked about data, and you talked about the anxiety for students and teachers and parents. Dr. Mike Villarreal has some new survey statistics that he's going to share with us after the break. Welcome back. Dr. Mike Villarreal is with the Urban Education Institute at UTSA. And one of the things that they have been looking at is the effect of distance learning and the effects of COVID on our education system. They've done surveys in 8 different school districts. They've talked to teachers, and they revealed some of those a few months ago. They just have back some survey results about how kids and parents feel about distance learning. I'm correct in all this, right, Mike?
That's right.
So
That's right.
Are you seeing their concerns line up, or is there a divergence of opinions between parents and teachers?
We are seeing their concerns line up and their assessment of what we're calling emergency distance learning, because this isn't just any type of distance learning. We all have to recognize that this is distance learning within the context a pandemic and a pandemic-induced recession. Many of our families are really on hard times right now with cutbacks in employment or lost jobs and food insecurity. And so it's a challenging time for everybody. And when we ask students and parents, what their assessment was of this experience and how their schools and teachers could do better, the number one stat that stands out for me is that 57% of students and parents said their teachers were helpful and that they didn't need to improve upon anything during this stressful time. Like they got it, they appreciated, given the circumstances, their teachers and their schools were doing the very best that they could. And so there was really a lot of grace, I think, being expressed by students and parents and even teachers who were frustrated by the sudden shift to having to learn new tools online. But it was a challenging time when we and we asked a number of different questions to try to get at the loss of learning. Overall, what we found was about 2/3 of students and parents reported a loss of learning, lower engagement, less activity, less checking in with the teachers. And so so it was difficult. It was very difficult. That's the primary number. 64% experienced a loss. But interestingly enough, and Superintendent Martinez raised this, what about the students who actually learned during this time and reported learning more? We found that a range between 10 to 15% of students actually thrived during the pandemic distance learning period. They reported higher rates of turning in homework, spending more time in their studies, reading more, engaging in classroom activities online. So it's really an interesting phenomena to try to understand, to recognize that there's a diversity of experiences, and as we move forward, how can we learn what works and what doesn't for the different types of students out there.
And nice to hear that some are able to thrive in this scenario. There aren't all negative side effects of remote learning. I want to get to some of our viewer questions that we've had submitted through our website at ksat.com. Superintendent Martinez, I'm going to pose this one to you, and we'll see if we can get some others to weigh in too. Addison is asking, what would passing periods look like for students who are doing in-person learning?
It's a great question. So, we just, for example, I was at a town hall for the Sam Houston High School community, and there we were showing schedules where it's an A-B schedule. So you have, for example, 4 periods on Mondays, 4 different periods on Tuesdays. In between, for when we start remote, there's synchronous time, which is in-person time with the teacher for 45 minutes, 45 minutes asynchronous where the students can work either in small groups or individually without the teacher. And then we give breaks in between, and we literally set up the breaks even during the remote learning so that we're used, so that when we do bring in children in person, when it is safe and the medical data allows us, that those are already built in. So we've expanded the amount of time that children have. And so by having an A/B schedule, it allows us to use the entire day in a much fuller way. We also have a healthy lunch break because even when we do remote learning, children and families will be able to pick up meals at any one of our schools, and so we have a break time for that as well. But the lesson we've learned is we have to be very generous in terms of time so that we can allow children to, and remember, we'll be bringing in children when the medical data allows it in very small numbers, so we get used to the routines, because again, we're going to have stickers across all the buildings, across the halls. These are things that are being set up as we speak now. And again, I don't want our children or parents to come into the buildings until they've seen what we've done and they feel comfortable. And so that for me is very important, because again, we do not want our children to be anxious. We don't want our staff to be anxious.
I want to ask Representative Diego Bernal a question. You heard Alejo talk earlier about the fact that this is bringing up school inequity more. Absolutely. We've talked about inequity, in our community, and that the mayor basically saying that this isn't anything new. This is just exacerbating it. What is happening with COVID-19? Are you concerned that this will not be addressed when you get back to Austin? Are you concerned that the inequalities will grow wider because of the inevitable budget crunch that's going to happen because of the pandemic?
Well, I'm worried about it in two respects. It's a great question. First, I'm worried because I do think that unless we settle on new revenue streams, we keep things as they are, then we're only looking at cuts. And even though there's an effort to keep public education as whole as possible, cuts, I think, considering the economy, are inevitable unless we find new revenue streams. So we have to do that. But for our city in particular, it has laid bare something that we really don't like, that we have to, as a city, we have to have a public reckoning that we are the poorest city in the country. We have the highest percent of people living below the federal poverty line than any other major city. We also have the highest percent of children living in poverty and the highest percent of young children living in poverty. Unless we as a city decide that we are going to fix that is our mission, this will continue. So the pandemic only laid bare something that we maybe ignored but shouldn't have, and now, unless we face it head on, it's going to continue. So Alejo's right. It's something that we've been dealing with for a long time. But yes, there are numbers and budgets involved, but also as a city, we have to look in the mirror and decide whether or not we're going to stand for this or we're going to make a course correction in a very real, large, scaled, systemic way. That is our charge.
And that response highlighting just the multifaceted challenges that this pandemic continues to present over and over. We got lots more conversation to be had here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Students, educators, teachers, parents, we need to be in these conversations. We are going to be the people affected. Don't make decisions for us, make decisions with us.
My main top concern is just the safety of my students and the safety of myself as a teacher and the safety of my family, because I'm not only a teacher, 12 hours a day. I go home and I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, and I don't want to kill my family.
And thanks to Monica for sharing her thoughts with us on this very important topic. We're continuing our town hall here. We have often talked about how schools are a safe haven for a lot of kids. Melina, I want to pose this next question to you as the teacher on our panelist. So often teachers play the critically important role of recognizing when there are problems at home with a student and perhaps, reporting that, making sure the child gets help. You talked about how teachers wear so many different hats. How can teachers continue to fill that gap and to recognize when a student may need extra help, may be in harm's way when we're doing remote learning?
Yeah, I know that's been something that's come up so often. I will say, we do run into those issues, but we also see the majority of our families are really invested in seeing that their children are productive and that they are working and they're doing the best that they possibly can to ensure that they're being successful through virtual learning. So yes, we certainly are reaching out. I know that myself and all of the teachers that I know, we spent hours from March through June and hours in the day, communicating with our families, calling them, doing Zoom lessons, speaking to our students, not just about lessons, but touching base with them and building those relationships that we always do with them. But I know that I talk to families consistently to ensure that the students are being successful and to hear out whatever issues or problems they have. That's what teachers do. They are going to continue to do what is best for kids. And, we want to ensure that our students are successful. So we will do everything in our power to ensure that.
Alejo, I don't know, Alejo Sosa, I don't know if you heard the conversation. It was a young woman from the Young Women's Leadership Academy talking about her frustration that students' concerns are not being brought into this conversation. You have a voice perhaps bigger than any other student in town. Are you feeling that frustration from some of your fellow students?
Definitely, and I know the student that just spoke. We're both a part of the SISD Student Coalition, and one thing that we've constantly been driving forward is nothing for the students without the students, right? And I think constantly there are only one or two student representatives in spaces like these. And we just need to work more to incorporate more students, right? Mr. Martinez asked, what can we do to support those students? reach out to those students, get them engaged in the conversation and really strive to improve their situations. I think that for virtual learning, that all too often we're really quick to look at it from a deficit mindset when we can look at it in a positive light, like Mr. Villarreal just mentioned, right? We have the capacity to build a positive virtual learning experience for students. And I think that all too often school districts abandon these ideas and want to revert back to in-person learning when some of these students, right, the majority of these students can't afford to get sick. Their families can't afford for that. And I think that just when we reach out to students, we see that these problems are recognized, and our coalition has seen that in our work.
Let's talk about a big topic I think every teacher, parent, student wants to address. What happens if?
Yeah.
Superintendent Martinez, I will pose that question to you. What happens if a teacher or student tests positive for COVID-19?
So what we're doing even now is just working directly with Metro Health, and so we follow every step of their procedure. So we do contact tracing. We inform any employee that was in contact with that individual. We have them quarantine themselves. What we've done in our district for our staff, because I've gotten this concern so much, is that we're going to make sure that if staff have to be on leave, that they will not be charged any sick time, so that everybody will have whatever time they need to be quarantined to get better. We're actually right now trying to get an insurance policy for our students because so many of our students are in extracurriculars and UIL activities, and I really would like to have a policy that even protects our children for COVID type related expenses, because we know even though the numbers are small for children that can be hospitalized, but they can be hospitalized. Parents can be hospitalized, grandparents can be hospitalized. And so those are things that unfortunately our state don't have the proper safety nets. We have a large percentage of our families that don't have insurance. It's something that our board is very concerned about. So again, these are things that we're exploring right now to try to see if we can have in place, again, so that when children do come in person, when it is safe, hopefully we can have these safety measures and hopefully these resources for our families, and of course our staff will have those resources of not having any sick days being charged, and of course being part of our medical program.
Are you concerned about the possibility that you may open and then have to close? I mean, do you have a protocol in place, like when it's time to shut down a particular campus again, and what that could do to the learning process?
So it's one of the reasons why we're being so meticulous in how we are going to open up schools. In other words, having a voluntary set of teachers come in on the first day, that it would be our safety committee, not allowing students to come in person for instruction until, again, we have our safety procedures in place, all of our equipment, being very gradual about it. Like I said, at the most 4 to 6 children. I'm empowering teachers and principals to make those decisions with parents. So it might be a child coming in 1 day a week. And then when we feel that that's working well, or the child needs more help, 2 days a week, and we keep moving on. And then for families who want to stay remote, they will have that option. And I'm going to definitely take Alejo, at the suggestion he made, really, engaging in students as well as parents of how do we make that remote learning plan successful, so that families families who choose that option, whether it's the whole semester or the whole year, that we know that there's no academic loss. Because again, what Dr. Villarreal related in terms of the survey results is a real concern for many of my colleagues, that we don't want children to be losing academically because they're trying to be safe. And that's not a fair choice for families to have to make. Right. We need to be able to do both.
Right.
This will be a year about adapting for sure. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our KSAT Town Hall. You are looking at our live chat feature on our website, where we are taking your questions that we are posing to our group of panelists. You can submit those questions right now. Just go to ksat.com. We have one viewer question we want to get to here next, and this one will be for Superintendent Martinez with SAISD. Ozzy asks, how will the districts handle teacher substitute requests? What training will substitutes have to have?
It's a great question. So we're in the process of hiring 100 to 120 what we call long-term subs. So these are substitutes that we will actually we'll commit to them for the whole first semester. So in other words, they will have work every day. It'll be at a higher rate than our normal rates, and they're being trained as we speak on Canvas, on all of our digital platforms. So our plan is to have them be in hubs. In other words, maybe 2 schools have a team of long-term subs, so that if a teacher for whatever reason is out, we have a long-term sub. And so we want to limit how many buildings they visit, maybe to 2 at the most, because again, we do not want to, we don't want to make sure we minimize the risk of any kind of spread. And so that's our plan right now, is roughly about 100 to 120 long-term subs. So please, any substitutes out there, we're looking for individuals that, again, that especially in key areas and key subjects, key grades, but really we want to make sure that we have all those individuals in place before any children come in person after Labor Day.
Are you having trouble finding substitutes?
We're not. I think the good news is that, actually I'll say it's the bad news, it's the sad news. So many of our substitutes just don't have work right now, because so many districts haven't been hiring substitutes. So the main thing for us right now is just making sure that they can commit for the whole semester, because some substitutes like the flexibility, and the other is that we want them in the right subject areas, in the right grade level, so that again, they can really jump in right away when a teacher is struggling or is out.
Mike Villarreal with the Urban Education Institute at UTSA just got done with the study on parents and students and how they're viewing this whole thing. Is there one overriding concern for parents and students that you were able to identify in your survey?
Well, in terms of learning, their overriding request is to reconnect with their teachers. Students and their parents recognize that social emotional connection, that spark between the educator and the student, is really important for facilitating the learning process, for bringing accountability and engagement, back to the classroom. And so at the start of the new year, teachers are going to have to, get to know a new crop of students through a video screen initially. And it's going to be a challenge. But I think the school districts learned a lot from the last spring, and they are trying to introduce new techniques and formats and schedules that will allow for teachers to try to make that connection.
And that social emotional connection, it is so important. It's why we all remember our favorite teachers all these years later. Melina, building on that, I want to pose this next question to you. From a teacher's perspective, are there any realities of COVID-19 and teaching during a pandemic that you feel like the public may just not be grasping about, just again, the reality of your job and the challenge that lies ahead?
I think a concern that I have is just the normalization of what the school year is going to look like. We keep hearing a lot of kids need to be back in the building, but I think what we need to stop and say is that, is school really the best place for kids right now, given the reality of what we have with COVID-19? And I think that what we're asking kids to do is going to go against their very nature of socialization, of wanting to be together. And I think that we're asking kids to be apart from one another. We're asking them to social distance, to wear masks. Their teachers are going to be wearing masks and face shields, and they're not going to be able to sit together at lunch. And I think what we need to do is think about how traumatic that might be for our students, and to address that. I think that what we're asking kids to really do is a tough challenge for them, and it's going to affect their academics. And I think just we need to be very frank and honest with our parents and our students about what the year is going to potentially look like.
That's a good point, because this is not normal for students or teachers, but it's not normal as humans. I mean, we are social beings. I mean, just think that is being taken away from a lot of these young people who this was their social network, is who they hung out with at school. Mm-hmm. So that is all being taken away. So it's interesting how that dynamic is going to play out. I have to ask Superintendent Martinez about the Big Ten and the Pac-12 making the decision that they are not going to play football this fall. Of course, high school football is king in Texas. Are you watching the decisions that are being made at a collegiate level to decide perhaps what you guys do on a high school level?
We are, and so we know right now in the red, there's no extracurriculars at all, which is really difficult because so many of our students, they love their extracurriculars, whether it's athletics or fine arts. In the red, there's none. In the yellow, there's not going to be any extracurriculars. And so I know that's hard for many of our students. We have to wait till we get into the green zone, and that criteria is very, very high. And that, even there, we're not looking at high contact sports. We're looking at individual sports. We're looking at practice, training. And so what we're going to be watching is not only collegiate, professional, we're going to be looking at guidance from UIL. But for us, again, for our parents, I want to make sure that they know that we're going to be very, very careful, because as much as our children love extracurriculars, we have to make sure that we can do it in a safe way. And the green zone, like I said, even there, it's going to be very limited. Really, the blue zone is what you're looking for in our case. In the blue zone, that means a breakthrough. You need some kind of breakthrough to happen. And again, hopefully, we all pray that there's a vaccine. We hope some breakthrough happens, hopefully in the second semester. My fear is that in the first semester, the best we might get to is to the green zone.
And we're talking about those color-coded zones. The city has on its website, on its COVID-19 dashboard, a color-coded assessment, if you will, of the risk level for local schools. We're going to go to another break really quickly. We got plenty more questions on the other side. We'll be right back.
We've got a few minutes left before we wrap up this town hall, and we have 5 guests here. And I want to give each of you quickly a chance to, what's one thing that you would like people who are watching this to take home with them?
All right, Alejo, let's start with you. What's a final thought you've had about this very important topic?
I think that just reinforcing the idea that we have to stay home for the situation to get better. One of my biggest concerns, right, is we keep referencing this green zone, and we're equating the data in the green zone to what we saw in May. Schools were not open in May. We were still in all virtual learning in May. There were no sports whatsoever in May. So I just urge those in charge, I urge those who are listening right now to really consider what happens when we stay home and what happens when we make sure that we're keeping our students and our community safe.
Dr. Mike Villarreal, Urban Education Institute at UTSA, your final thoughts here.
The virus is doing its thing. If we're bickering with each other, it doesn't care. It's spreading. And so we, as the potential victims of the virus, really need to be mindful of how we listen to each other, how we collaborate, and how we come to decisions that ultimately are about overcoming this shared public challenge. And from one of the teachers who we surveyed, I think the big takeaway is we need to give each other grace. It's really important to do that. We're all trying to get through this. We need to give each other grace as we move forward together.
So much of that will be needed in this upcoming school year. Melina, let's turn to you now, our teacher among our panelists this evening. What are your final thoughts?
I think as both a mother and a teacher, I think preserving human life and health needs to be the main focus of all decisions that our districts are making. And currently, with mandating teachers back into the classroom, our districts are taking an unnecessary risk with the lives of our educators, with teachers, and we should be able to and can be able to work from home. And so we need to remember to preserve our teachers. Our teachers' lives are precious as well, and educators should have the choice to report to the building or work safely from our homes. So I think we just need to make sure that students and educators' lives are not expendable, and we need to ensure their safety at all times.
Representative Diego Bernal, your final thoughts tonight.
I think that we have to look at this in 2 ways. One is, of course, you want to take care of yourself, you want to take care of your family, you want to take all precautions to make sure that you are safe. And at the same time, in equal parts, we have to remember that the things we do affect everyone else. The way that we go back to work, the way we may go back to school, whether or not we wear a mask, we're not just doing it for ourselves, but we're doing it for everybody else. And unless we buy into the idea of community and the health and safety of the community being on us, we're not going to get through it. So think about yourself and your family, but also recognize that what you do affects everyone else and take that into account.
Superintendent Martinez, let's go to you now. What are your final thoughts on this back to school during a pandemic?
So number one, again, we have to make decisions based on medical data and science. And one of the things that gives me hope is look at New York. New York was the epicenter for the entire country when this whole started. They're about to open schools after Labor Day in person. And anybody who's been in New York, those buildings are small, the classrooms are small, they're tight, everything is very dense in New York. Why? Because their positivity testing rate is 2% or less. Their number of cases has declined to such a low number that they feel that they're ready and they're going to be safe. And so I definitely agree with all the panelists. Safety has to be our number one concern. We have to preserve life, but we also want to make sure that we're using data to drive our decisions, because fear in itself will freeze all of us. And for some families, they'll do well remotely. For many families, they will not. For many families, they don't have a choice but to go to work. The majority of the parents in my district, the majority of the 49,000 students we serve, in their households, their parents are having to go to work because they're frontline workers, and they don't have a choice. They can't stay home. I agree with Alejo and Melina. I wish all of our community could stay home. I wish there was a way for people's pay to be protected, and people had a living wage across our city. I wish all of that was in existence, but the reality is inequities in this community have been in existence for decades, and this pandemic is only making them worse. So again, we will, any family who wants to stay remote, you will have that ability all year long. We will work with our students and our teachers to make that as strong as possible. And then slowly, in a gradual way, we will allow children to come in person if the medical data backs it, and our families and students are comfortable and teachers are comfortable with the procedures we have in our buildings.
Superintendent, we have a little bit more time here. We talked a little bit at the end about the digital divide and how that was playing out in your district in particular. And you said you thought at one point there were between 2,000 and 3,000 students who you had not heard from since the end of the school year. Are you confident that that digital divide has been bridged well enough to start school?
So I think we're in a better place because we distributed 42,000 devices just during the spring break. Before that, we already had distributed over 5,000 devices, most of them with iPads in our large middle schools. So we're in a better place. My concern, though, I'll tell you that it's really frustrating for me. With all the hotspots we distributed, I still have neighborhoods where the infrastructure in the ground is not strong enough or reliable for our children. And so that really concerns me. I'm very excited about the partnership we have with the city, where we're going to leverage their federal funds that they received, our traffic lights, which are all run by Wi-Fi. I didn't know that. That was a great kind of cool thing for me to learn. And then we have our own dark fiber that we just finished, and we're lighting up for this next school year. So between the city and ourselves, we're going to be rolling out a new internet service and again, I would have to tell families, it's not for Netflix, it is for academics, it's for Canvas, it's for our applications, but that's going to be faster than ever. It'll roll out starting in the west side, but I can't wait till it rolls out throughout the entire district and eventually the entire city, because many districts have neighborhoods like mine that just don't have the infrastructure in the ground.
The purpose of us holding this town hall was to answer so many questions that are out there. We have had a great conversation here this evening. A lot of questions came in through our website. I want to end on one viewer question, which I will again post to Superintendent Martinez. This one's talking about younger students, how to make sure that the younger kids are taking safety precautions, and what happens if there is a violation of that, even for the older students, when we're talking about social distancing and mask wearing.
So first of all, we're going to have face shields, with cute little hats. I mean, there's been a lot of media coverage over them, but really the number one thing is we have to work with parents. And what I've learned, and I've learned this from some of our nonprofit providers who've had summer camps, who've had daycare, is that if a parent is working with us and telling their 3, 4, 5-year-old that, look, you have to wear a mask, the probability of that child being able to keep that mask is much higher. If that is not happening at home, it is much more difficult for us to enforce it in school.
Yeah.
And we're not going to punish children.
And
so we need to work with parents.
That's something we're all working on during this pandemic, modeling the behavior that we want to see from others around us. Thanks so much for all of your contributions and contributing to a very important conversation.
And remember, when it comes to learning